I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station, so if there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, call us at 970-677-4119. If you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Thursday program for May 21st, 2020. DCTV Daily News. Here are some facts about restaurants in Colorado, courtesy of the Colorado Restaurant Association. It might provide a bit of context for the current COVID crisis and its economic impact. There are approximately 11,800 eating and drinking locations in Colorado. Total restaurant sales in Colorado are expected to exceed $13 billion from 2019. Colorado food service industry employs 285,000 workers. Colorado restaurants generate approximately $348 million in state taxes, plus any taxes collected by local jurisdictions. More than 75% of Colorado's restaurants are independently owned and operated. And Colorado restaurants account for almost 10% of the state labor force. That's a pretty large impact on the state, as they have been forced to close down all but curbside and delivery options if they were able to do so. The Colorado Sun provided information on the new next current restaurant guidelines from the state offices. With a photo, William Woody, this is reposted in the Journal. Colorado released draft guidelines on Tuesday for restaurants that want to reopen to in-person dining as soon as the coming weeks, revealing major changes the coronavirus has made to the way people are used to dining out. The bottom line, restaurant patrons should not expect dining to be normal, and it will likely be difficult for businesses to recoup their losses. Among the rules for restaurants that want to reopen for in-person dining are requirements that they keep tables at least 8 feet apart, whether they are indoors or outdoors, and that servers wear masks and gloves. Other items in the guidelines include menus being single-use only. Restaurants have proper ventilation. Restaurants not offer communal seating or bar seating. Self-service stations and buffets are not allowed. Restaurants must have floor decals to direct customers. Bathrooms must be cleaned every 30 minutes, and there must be at least 6 feet of spacing between in-service stalls and urinals. Hand sanitizers must be available for patron and employee use. Servers must wash their hands at least every 30 minutes, which, as a side note, I would hope a busy restaurant worker does anyway. Menu offerings should be modified to create more kitchen space. Customers should be asked to wear masks when they are not eating or drinking. Customers should be asked to register with the restaurant in case an outbreak occurs. Again, note this states should be asked, as we are dancing on a fine line of should suggestions, guidelines, without there being a draconian law for regulations. Restaurants under the draft guidelines are also directed to notify public health officials if there is an outbreak among their staff or patrons of COVID-19, the disease caused by the Wuhan novel coronavirus. Allegedly. Colorado's food service industry has been one of these sectors hardest hit by the pandemic. Scores have lost their jobs because of the virus, and some restaurants have closed their doors for good because of the financial impacts. A few restaurants were already chafing at the proposed guidelines released by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment on Tuesday. William Oliver's Public House, which has locations in Lafayette and Fort Collins, said that the 8-foot spacing rule would limit seating to about 9.5% of capacity. These guidelines are still a work in progress, the Colorado Restaurant Association said in a post on its website. However, these guidelines give us a glimpse of what reopening may look like. Governor Jared Polis has encouraged local governments to loosen regulations to allow restaurants to serve customers in their parking lots, on sidewalks, and even on streets where possible, so that they can have more capacity. Quote, "That's really the only way with the spacing we're going to have a thriving restaurant environment for the coming months," Polis said on Monday. The governor hopes to solicit feedback this week and finalize the guidelines before Memorial Day, which is when he said on the 25th he will decide whether restaurants statewide can reopen for in-person dining. In Mesa County, in-person dining has already resumed because officials there requested and were granted a variance to the state's Safer at Home ordinance. So let's take a look at Mesa's statistics since reopening. There does not seem to be an increase in cases, though the data remains lagging and across the board seems to be readjusted as they verify testing and COVID labeling on patients. And in fact, they had been listed with 52 cases and 52 recoveries. However, that's been downgraded to just 50, a 2% decline in listings. So we shall see if a variance for Dolores County comes in this week or not, given that we have 0 cases and very few restaurants in the county. And now, let's take a look at the local weather. There is a fire weather watch in effect from Friday afternoon through Friday evening for gusty winds, low relative humidity, and dry fuels for Colorado fire weather zones of our area below 9,500 feet and in the Utah areas across the border. The bottom line is that below 9,500 feet, expect gusty winds, low relative humidity, and dry fuels, which could result in rapid fire growth. There has been no ban in place, no fire ban in place at this point in our county. The fire weather watch is a serious condition, and please act accordingly. For today, we have a sunny day with a high near 66 degrees. The north winds are light at 5 to 10 miles an hour. It might be a good day to do some work outside while it's relatively calm. Tonight, clear and a low a little warmer than last night, around 40 degrees, with west winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Then we get back into the winds for Friday, as was said. Sunny day with a high near 76, breezy, which means a southwest wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour, increases to 15 to 20 range, with winds gusting to 35. For Friday night on the overnight, mostly cloudy and a low around 45 degrees, but it does remain breezy with a south-southwest wind 15 to 20 miles an hour, finally decreasing back to the 5 to 10 mile an hour after midnight. There still may be gusts through the evening to 30 miles an hour. For Memorial Day weekend, in which we are still, quote, by order of the state, only supposed to drive for essential purposes, you know mental health is important too, and so I will bet there will be a lot of campers and outdoor recreation happening as usual for this time of year. The weather looks pretty nice, still warm and dry for Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 70 degrees, with south winds 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming west in the afternoon. The winds could be gusty to 25 mile an hour. Winds. Saturday night, we're looking for partly cloudy sky and a low around 41. Into Sunday, again sunny with a high near 68 degrees. Sunday night, mostly clear and a low around 41. And Memorial Day Monday, a reminder that many official businesses, like the courthouse, will be closed for the holiday, which is sort of ironic in my opinion. But anyway, sunshine with a high near 72 degrees. Monday night, mostly clear, a low around 44 degrees. Tuesday, warming up with more sunny skies and a high near 79 degrees. Tuesday night, partly cloudy and a low around 49. And now, back to the news. The Journal reported on the fire from yesterday afternoon. A wildfire broke out Wednesday north of Toyac on the Ute Mountain Ute Reservation. The fire burned at the base of Ute Mountain and was brought under control around 5:30 p.m., said Ute Mountain Emergency Manager John Trocheck. It was pretty bad. The winds were swirling, but it's under control now, he said. The Ute Mountain Fire Department had a good first response, and there was fast cooperation from area fire agencies. There were no injuries and no structures were lost, Trocheck said. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The photos are courtesy from their offices. Emergency calls went out around 2:30 p.m. about smoke north of town. The fire spread rapidly in dry grass, brush, and pinyon juniper trees on a flat area. Several planes and helicopters responded to fight the fire and could be seen repeatedly dropping slurry and water. Fire crews were on the ground, with some being dropped off by helicopter, according to a witness. A large plume of smoke was visible from Toyac and Cortez. The fire was a quarter of a mile from the nearest home, the witness said. Multiple agencies responded, including Ute Mountain Fire, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Cortez Fire Protection District, Luis Areola Fire Department, Mesa Verde National Park, and San Juan National Forest. The Durango Herald published an article on the Waffle House shooting over the mask-wearing continued issue. A man is accused of shooting and wounding a Waffle House employee in suburban Denver the night after being asked to wear a face covering inside the restaurant, authorities said. Police in Aurora arrested Kelvin Watson, age 27, on Monday on a charge of attempted first-degree murder, KDVR reported. Court records show Watson is represented by the Arapahoe County Public Defender's Office, which did not immediately return a telephone message seeking comment Tuesday. This is a report in the Durango Herald. According to an arrest affidavit, employees told investigators that Watson came to the restaurant shortly after midnight on Thursday last week, and a waitress told him he needed to wear a mask to be served. The restaurant was offering only carry-out service. Watson allegedly returned with a mask that he was not wearing and was again told he could not be served. Witnesses said he put a small gun on the counter before telling the cook he could, quote, blow your brains out, according to the affidavit. The following night, just after midnight on Friday, police said Watson returned and slapped the cook across the face when he was told again he was not going to be served. Watson is accused of shooting the cook in the chest or abdomen outside of the restaurant as the cook ran to get away. The cook was released from a hospital on Friday afternoon. Quote, we are deeply saddened and regret that this senseless act of violence occurred, Waffle House spokesperson Najiri Boss said. Aurora does not require masks or face coverings in public places like some other communities in Metro Denver. For most people, the new coronavirus causes mild or moderate symptoms such as fever and cough that clear up in 2 or 3 weeks. For some, especially older adults and people with existing health problems, it can cause more severe illness, including pneumonia and death. And the Journal reported that Mesa Verde National Park will partially reopen on Sunday after being closed for 2 months because of the coronavirus pandemic. File photos. The cornerstone of the local tourism economy will increase visitor access with a phased approach, and services will be limited, according to a park Facebook post. The first phase on Sunday includes reopening the Moorfield Campground and Farview Lodge. Outdoor spaces, including overlooks and trails, will be accessible to the public in accordance with the latest health guidance, including social distancing. Visitors will be able to experience the Mesa Top and Cliff Palace driving loops, as well as the Farview sites and Park Point. The Visitor and Research Center, along with the Chapin Mesa Archaeological Museum, will remain closed. The partial reopening follows the closure on March 25th. Quote, we are so thrilled Mesa Verde reopening is something this area really needs to help with tourism, said Susan Lysek, director of the Dolores Chamber of Commerce. Cortez, Mancos, and Dolores benefit from park visitation, she said. Quote, after visiting Mesa Verde, people love to explore our area, to go shopping, ride local bike trails, visit McPhee Reservoir, and go hiking, she said. Tourism officials have been getting lots of calls about whether the park has reopened. National Park Service officials encourage people who choose to visit the park during the pandemic to adhere to guidance from local, state, and federal public health officials to protect visitors, employees, and vulnerable populations. People should avoid crowding and practice leave no trace principles. Quote, visitors traveling from outside the area of Colorado should be aware that they may be traveling through the Navajo Nation on their journey, according to the Mesa Verde National Park Facebook post. Quote, due to the significant impact the pandemic has had on residents there are curfews in place and services may be limited, especially for those traveling at night. Please be respectful of these residents and plan accordingly prior to passing through the Navajo Nation lands, end quote. BLM and Forest Service sites are also starting to reopen this weekend, so be sure to check before you go, and I'll say it again, how can we expect to drive to a campground when it's no doubt further than the 10-mile radius limit under the state governor's orders not to exceed, as well as not being essential travel? Stay safe and healthy wherever you may be, at home or outside. And I post up notices of reopenings and all types of local area happenings on our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News, where you can also watch the program replay along with the news links and stories of local interest. And you too can share other events or news there and join in on the conversation. This is your local community TV station, so if you have something that you would like to share, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com, or you can call and leave a message at 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. Programs are broadcast Monday through Friday with replays online on our YouTube channel or DCTV Daily News page on Facebook. And if you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Again, thank you for watching.